This week, we're making Darrsh's Brinjal Curry with fried eggplant. To start off, I've got 2 eggplant that I just cut up into some battens. I just washed them and I cut them and I left the skins on. So to this, you're going to add a couple of tablespoons of salt. You're going to give it a little mix around. And then you're going to let this sit just like that for about 10 minutes. And then we'll jump on to the next step. As you can see, water. So we just want to grab up a few at a time. Give them a bit of a squeeze to get any excess water out. The more water you get out here, it's going to be a little more safe for the next step, which is going to be frying these little bad boys in some oil. So you just want to get them out, spread them out on some paper towel. So after you got your eggplant squeezed out of excess water, you just want to get some oil up to temperature, and you're just going to fry your eggplant off in batches until nicely golden brown. Once they're nicely golden brown like this, you want to remove them to a paper towel lined tray to drain, and then just carry on frying the rest. Next step, I got some oil back on the heat. Now I don't have any black mustard seeds, a few extra of the yellow mustard seeds in. That should be right. They should start frying away, and we'll cook these off for about 30 seconds. They should start popping. Good idea to put a net on, otherwise they're going to spit all over the place. Now I don't have any fresh curry leeks, but I've found some dry ones, so we're going to add those to the pot next. I'm going to cook those off for also about 30 seconds or so. After that, you're going to add 1 thinly sliced red onion. Give that a bit of a mix around. Now I've got mine on a medium heat at the moment. We're just going to keep it on that. So to this, we're going to add a teaspoon of brown sugar. We're just going to keep this on a medium heat, and we're just going to let these cook away until the onions start cooking down and start smelling nice and sweet. So the onions are getting some nice colour on them. So now we're going to add a couple of tablespoons of passata. As always, correct amounts and ingredients are going to be on the website, traditionalbutnot.com. We're just going to cook this off for a couple of minutes. It's been cooking away for a couple of minutes. Now we're going to add some grated ginger and garlic. So we're just going to mix this in and cook this off for a couple of minutes as well. I've been cooking this garlic and everything out for a couple of minutes now, and now we're going to add the little spice mix. Now with this, we want to keep stirring it, and we're going to cook this out for a few minutes. And the recipe states that if it gets too dry, just add a splash of water, but we want to get this nice and toasted off and nice and dark, because this is where the curry is going to get its nice dark colour from. Just keep an eye on this one, keep moving it around. As I said, if it gets too sticky, add a splash of water. Okay, now the recipe says this should be turning into a paste, but mine looks super dry to be getting anywhere near a paste. So I'm just going to add some water, just a little bit, and we'll keep cooking this off and adding a little bit of water till we actually get a paste consistency. So I've just added little bits of water, I'll add a little bit more, and this will give the spices a chance to rehydrate, and yeah, we'll just keep cooking it off this for a couple more minutes. So I've cooked this off, and it's gotten nice and dark, but it hasn't burned. Now I've mixed some water and tamarind paste, so we're going to add that. We're going to lower the heat to medium-low, and we're just going to get all this mixed in. Once you got all this mixed in, you're going to reduce the heat to a low heat. You're going to place the lid on, just leave it slightly cracked. It's been bubbling away for about 10 minutes. Now I'm going to add the eggplant. So we just want to get this mixed in. We want to keep it on this low heat. And we're going to place the lid back on. And we're going to keep it bubbling away for about 15 minutes. Just check it way now and again. And if it dries out, add a little bit of water. So this has been cooking away for about 15 minutes. Now, it doesn't say in the recipe, but taste for seasoning. It doesn't say any but. Once you got the seasoning how you like it, add a little bit more. Give it a little mix in. Turn the heat off. Now we're going to add the coconut. Now the coconut I buy is this concentrate, and it actually comes in a solid form. So the heat in this should be enough to melt it down. Now I've mixed mine a little bit too much, so it's getting a little bit pasty, but we'll give it one final taste. And now we're going to adjust the seasoning if you need, and we'll set this aside and crack on with the rest. So for the rice, I'm going to run a little bit of an experiment. I'm going to cook one in a pot and one in the rice cooker. And I'm going to see if there's any difference at all. So I've already washed my rice very thoroughly. So add a cup of rice there, and we'll add the rest of it to the rice cooker bowl. Now we'll add the water. We're going to add some ghee. We're also going to add the salt. So for the rice cooker, close the lid. Turn it on, and for the one on the stove, we'll also turn it on, and we're going to bring this up to a boil. You can see this pot's up to a boil. We're just going to reduce the heat to a simmer. Once it's at a simmer, we're going to place the lid on, and we're going to cook for around 12 minutes or until the water's pretty much nearly all absorbed. Okay, so I've had the rice cooking for 10 minutes, and the water's definitely gone, and it was just starting to stick to the bottom. We're going to leave the lid on, and we're going to let that steam out for about 8 minutes. The rice cooker's already finished. We'll let that sit there until the pot's finished doing its thing. Let's see how this rice turned out. So I'll give it a little fluff up with a fork. Looks alright. Turns out, I just didn't turn the rice cooker on properly. I meant to turn it on and then push the button down. We'll wait until this finishes and then we'll see again. In my bowl, I've already put some yogurt and a finely diced the onion and the cucumber. So we'll bang that in. My red onion was kind of small, so I ended up dicing and adding the whole one. Then we're going to add in our little spice blend there and the juice of a lemon. So we'll go ahead and get this all mixed in. Okay, we'll go ahead and give it a taste. It's finished. We'll set it aside. Got a pan with some oil in. We're just going to drop in our curry leaves and fry off for a few minutes. Once you finish frying them, you want to remove them and set them aside. To the same pan, want to add a few cashew nuts. And then we're just going to fry these off until they're nicely golden brown. These go super quick, so make sure you don't leave them. Then once they're nicely cooked on all sides, we'll remove it and we're ready to plate. Second attempt on the rice, and this is looking a hell of a lot better. So I'll give it a bit of a mix around, give it a taste. Even though I screwed this one up and had it on a keep warm setting function for a while, it's about on par with the pot version. So my advice, use the rice cooker. Even if you screw up, you can still fix it and there ain't no difference. So let's give it a try. So the curry itself has a bit of a sweet sour thing going on from the tamarind paste. But if we mix it with a bit of rice, cashew nut, typically curries are more thought of like a spicier thing in the Western world, but this is definitely not spicy. Packed full of flavour. And when you mix it with some of this rice mixed with the ghee, that is pretty damn good. Then have a little spoon of the raita to freshen the palate back up, and then go into the curry again.